My name is Oliver Jones. I'm a third-year law student at New York Law School. I'm 35 years old. Before law school, I was a real estate broker with the Corcoran Group.
What was your role here at Adam Lightman Bailey PC?
My role was really to do anything that I was asked to do by the attorneys. I mostly wanted, when I came in, to do transactional work, which I sought out, but when I was asked to do other things from the litigation point of view, and I would do that. Basically, you start walking around and say, what can I do, how can I help you? You sort of gain relationships with certain lawyers, and they just continue to give you work, and you end up that way. But I think at the very beginning it was, what can I do to help? And your role is to just sort of be there for the attorneys who need your assistance.
What was it like working at Adam Lightman Bailey PC?
It was intense. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of activity around here. It was the first time I'd ever worked at a law firm. I've worked for a judge before. I've worked for general counsel before. So it was different in that regard. It was, like I said, intense. There was a lot to do, but it was also very informative because you start doing things that you've never done before, which at first can be very scary, but then you sort of realize, hey, now I know how to copy out a deposition. Now I know how to write a complaint. I never would have thought that I would have done that before. So I would say it was instructive and educational and hard in the sense that you were expected to work pretty hard.
Did you get to work with Mr. Bailey directly?
Yes, I did. He asked me to write an article, a broker article, which was pretty interesting, and we sort of delved into that. But also on a regular basis, you're running into him in the hallway, you're going into his office and asking him questions. If nothing else, he's signing off on your weekly timesheet, so you have a lot of interaction with him. For some tasks more, for some tasks less, but you're definitely interacting with Adam, yeah.
What type of tasks did you perform?
A lot of research. Especially for the litigation departments, they would say, we need to know if there's cases on file that support what we're doing. I was very transactional, so I was working with Rosemary and Natasha doing bank closings, UCC filings, that sort of stuff. I actually went off-site a few times, put me in a car service and sent me down to Bay Ridge to do a closing, which was kind of cool. And then when you were doing an article, you'd really get into depth on the research aspect, but sort of anything that they need, but a lot of research and a lot of the bank closings.
What have you learned from working here?
A lot. Expectations of working in a law firm are much different from when you're working for one person. You have, Adam is the boss, and if he asks you to do something, that's what you're doing, but there's also lots of other bosses and sort of under bosses, so to be able to juggle things, and as an intern, you feel like you're just supposed to do whatever anyone asks of you, but then you sort of realize someone comes to you and says, can you do this? And you say, I have these 3 other things to do, but I can do it next week. And you sort of learn to juggle a lot of the different things that go on in the law firm. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that I learned here.
What's the one thing or experience that will stand out in your mind that you gained from working here?
The feeling that even if you're just an intern, or even if you are a law school intern as opposed to a high school intern, that what you're doing is important, that you're contributing to a major case that may end up being argued by Adam at the appellate division, or that you are helping out with research that might end up to be a published article. I think that when you're a young attorney, you don't really think that what you're doing is as important as what the people up top are doing, but I think that it was always given the feeling that you were really part of what we're doing. I think it was big in terms of confidence building.
What was the best aspect of working at Adam Lightman Bailey PC?
I really enjoyed the people. I really enjoyed meeting a lot of the different people. Everyone seems to, hard work, yes, but they also seem to enjoy themselves, and there's sort of a bit of a community feeling here, and that's really enjoyable. Specifically, during the hurricane, it sort of seemed like this whole office had to move uptown, and you could see the amount of camaraderie. I personally wasn't able to get from Brooklyn to where the office had relocated, but I emailed Adam and I said, is there anything I can do? I can work from home, and I don't know, you sort of felt like you were part of what was going on, and that was pretty huge.
Do you have any other comments or suggestions you'd like to make?
No suggestions that I could think of. Comments, it's a great place to work if you really, really want to work. It's not such a great place to be if you just want to sit back and collect your hours, but what they do here in terms of real estate law is pretty fantastic. So I would say you would probably learn a lot and be well rewarded if you wanted to be an intern here.
Great. Do we have your permission to post this on our website?
Yes, you do.